Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our nominees.
Thank you, Senator Gillibrand. Let me recognize Senator Blackburn, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to each of you, I want to say thank you for your willingness to serve our country and for your family's willingness to allow you to serve our country. Mr. Lohman, I want to come to you first. FSRM is something that we in Tennessee talk about a good bit because, as you're aware, we have a heavy military presence in our state, and this is something important to us. What is the current backlog on FSRM? What is that deficit right now?
Senator, thank you for that question. So FSRM is critical to sustaining readiness of our
what's
services.
the deficit?
Ma'am, I'm not familiar with the current deficit and would have to take that.
I think we want to get that number because it is billions in backlogged projects. And then do you think it is an issue of priority or under-resourcing that DoD has acquired such a backlog?
Senator, thank you again. I understand, Senator, that the Deputy Secretary of Defense has created a new position, Assistant Secretary of Defense for Installations, Energy, and the Environment. So this particular FSRM topic is no longer in the ASDS sustainment portfolio. However, if confirmed, I would be happy to work with the ASD EI&E to better understand the issue and to ensure that you get answers to your question.
Well, that it is a portfolio that has grown so large that it takes the attention of more than one.
Yes, ma'am.
At this point. And it does have an impact, as you're aware, on recruiting, on retention, and on the programs that are being implemented and the projects that are being carried out inside those facilities. So I would like a commitment from you that if you are confirmed that you will visit Arnold Engineering Development Center in Tennessee with me. This is an Air Force base, and at Arnold, they are carrying out our hypersonics testing. That is where we have our Air Force wind tunnels. It is where autonomous vehicles are being tested for the Air Force. Its importance is growing because of Space Force location in Huntsville, Alabama, which is in close proximity to Arnold on the Tennessee side of the line. So it is quite important to us. Do I have your commitment?
You do, ma'am.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Bashar, welcome. How does the Air Force balance this initiative that Secretary Austin has started with a working group on countering extremist activities? And this is something that from our families of enlisted men and women, I'm hearing a good bit about this because you've got to hit a balance with that so that you, and you have to look at how it impacts the rights of the person in uniform and their personal beliefs and the role that the department is going to have there and protecting these civil liberties. So how do you do that?
Senator Blackburn, I think the overwhelming majority of airmen and guardians, and indeed the 2 million plus members of the total force, serve this country with honor and dignity and consistent with their oaths. There's the working group that's been established to try to provide guidance around the contours of prohibited activities, and if confirmed, trying to strike the very balance that you've spoken about between First Amendment rights and the need for good order and discipline would be a priority.
Thank you. Mr. Storch, I want to come to you on this COVID vaccine issue that we have with DoD. At Fort Campbell, we've heard a little bit about this. as you can imagine. And by the way, Mr. Chairman, I noticed that we have a series of letters from Senator Johnson in his capacity. Have these been submitted to the nominees or submitted to the record for discussion?
Excuse me, ma'am?
Okay, I'm referencing the letters.
There are a series of letters that Senator
Yes,
Tuberville.
have they been submitted to?
They have not
the
been
record?
submitted to the record yet.
Okay,
ma'am.
let's submit them to the record and
Without
as
objection.
questions for response. I think that would be important to you, Mr. Storch. I would like to know where your views are on implementing the vaccine mandate on civilian personnel and on our DoD contractors, and then with our men and women in uniform, how the consideration is given for their medical and religious exemption procedures, how we're addressing natural immunity, which is stronger than the immunity received from a vaccine. I'm over time, so let's do all of that for the record. That gets you off the hook right now. And Dr. Martinez, well, okay, Mr. Chairman, can he give his answer?
A brief answer, please, for Senator Blackburn.
Yeah, yes, Senator. All I was going to really say is that, IGs are authoritative when we speak based upon our work. And so I'm aware that the DoD IG is doing some work in the areas you've discussed. And as I indicated previously, if there's additional work to be done after I'm confirmed, we'll look into that as well. I can't make that assessment now. So that's it. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn. And could I ask the witnesses to move their microphones closer? That'll help us all hear you much better. Thank you very much. Now let me recognize Senator Blumenthal, please.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I want to second the remarks made by